Hello, welcome to Layback with Betfair. I'm Tom Haylock, joined by Terry Leighton and Daniel Cripps. How are you, Cripper?
G'day, Tommy. A bit weary, to be honest. This card, wouldn't say they've saved the best till last, but they've definitely saved the hardest one for last. It was a bit of marathon yesterday, getting through 9 races of capacity fields and felt really even. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, it's I reckon the winners, they look quite well concealed.
Not much from the Eastern Seaboard Terriers. I welcome you in. You're all WA horses mainly.
Yeah, g'day Tommy. G'day Crip. Yeah, no, we're both pretty happy with that, I'd say. Stayed out of probably the best decision I've made for a while was to stay out of the Northerly. I wouldn't have found Light Infantryman. And worst part is I gave Carl, who filled in for you last week, a bit of a clip when he said that the owner declared it straight after it lost the railway. So I apologise to Carl. You were right. I was wrong.
Very good. Straight to the lay bins. Now we're obviously talking about Ascot, and the rail goes back into the true, and you're not happy with that, Cripper?
No, I'm not. I'm going to put the curator in the lay bin now. I don't want to come across as too harsh because overall they do a great job. But I think about 5 weeks ago we had the rail in the true for the first time this season, and the fence was just absolutely quicksand, both rail in run and in the straight. And look, I understand the counter argument where to get through a long season, you've probably got to use 100% of the track that you've got. But I don't know why we had to go back to the true for a big day, a Pinnacles day. It just seems, at best, we probably get an even track, which I'm sure we could have got there's a few other pads, I'm sure we could have got that. But at worst, and which is what I'm expecting, I reckon the fence will be a massive query. And yeah, it just doesn't make for great racing on a big day.
Question for you on that. Do the jockeys just stay off the fence now, or are they slow learners? What's the plan? Obviously, if you draw one, a lot happens at Caulfield regularly and a lot of tracks around Australia where they do just stay off the fence, even though the rail's in the true there. Do they do that, or do they just get pushed back to the inside in WA?
It's very rare to see a field of WA runners staying off the fence, say on like around the back. But you see jockeys, for example, last time the rail was in true, Steve Parnham led on a horse called XL Train, and as soon as he came around the corner, he was happy to be 3 or 4 lanes off the fence. So around the back, I'll say they'll still stick to the rail, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a couple of leaders try and venture into the middle of the track if that pattern kind of starts to be more apparent.
Are we potting inside barriers there for Terry?
Yeah, you've got to. It's been like 2 years now. I think last season we had one meeting at the true fence where it played pretty well. But for 2 years straight now, the inside pad's been horrible. So I find it's even worse once you get to 1,400 metres and beyond. I feel like you can forgive some sprinters, mainly because I'm backing a sprinter later from a low gate. So I need to be able to forgive it. But yeah, it's just hard to go in with confidence. It's funny, there will be an overreaction meeting where they water the outside more or do whatever they do. I'm not a curator, and that lane becomes the hot lane. I'm hoping this isn't it, because I've gone into this with the mindset that the inside is definitely a concern. But yeah, just race at 2 or 3 metres for one of our big days. It's not hard. Just keep the doubt out of it.
That's the most frustrating thing, is if you're predicting fence off when they do things to change it on race day, you've got the pattern, it's established pattern for 2 years, and then they change it up. It's a nightmare for punters. Just keep it consistent. Who cares if it's off? Everyone knows it's off. Jockeys should know, and let the punters work it out and find an edge, surely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty confident it will be off again, but I'm always just wary because there is a lot of talk on it this week. It's probably been more publicised than usual.
Yeah.
So you got to know that the curators are listening to all of that, and they'll want to go, well, look at this, played brilliantly, didn't it? So,
but yeah, I just think, like you said, Terry, it's been like this for 2 years, so they haven't been able to fix it in that time, including a redevelopment over the off season just gone. So if they can fix it in 7 weeks, well, I'm happy to be proven wrong. And in the long term, I hope I'm not proven wrong on Saturday, but in the long term, I'd love to be proven wrong, because I'd love to be able to see the rail at true and we get a typical Ascot track, but it just hasn't been the case for as long as I can remember.
Very good. Terry, you're not happy with dog walkers this week?
Yeah, no, I'm in a good mood actually, Tommy. I'm disappointed I had to throw something in the lay bin. We're just all love and light at the moment.
That's because you had to
Yeah,
fill up last week.
it's
We'll
only
get to
funny
that.
to me, I reckon. Yeah, no, I went for a bit of a jog yesterday afternoon, nearly 40 degrees, and there's people out there walking their dogs. So just a little public service announcement on behalf of our little canine friends. It's too hot to walk your dogs when it's 35 plus, probably 30 plus. So the poor little buggers, I felt sorry for them. That's all I have. I'm just an animal welfare man, Tommy.
Too good. 40 degrees doesn't stop Terry from going for a jog, though, does it?
Yeah, that was the main reason I brought that up, actually, just to throw in a little trumpet that I went for a
I was-
jog when it was hot. So didn't care about the dogs in the slightest.
I was going to say, do you apply some sunscreen at least?
Mate, I keep sun cream companies in business. Like I'm basically see-through. So I'm getting burnt under a light here at the moment. So I did, Tommy. Yes, plenty. I actually had some on to reapply every 6 minutes.
Fantastic. I don't know if you guys are Cripps fans or not, but there was a Sheffield Shield match the other day, South Australia versus Tasmania. Tasmania needed 4 to win off the last ball. South Australia needed 1 wicket. They hit one out to the deep cover boundary, and Riley Meredith took off for 2, thinking it was Big Bash, and got run out when they were no chance of winning. They were no chance of running 4 off the last ball. Is one of the biggest brain fades of cricket I've ever seen. Handed the victory to South Australia. Did you guys catch that at all?
Yeah, I did. I thought Riley Meredith obviously cooked it, but I reckon who is not giving him stronger instructions? Don't forget the bloke bats at 11. Spend a great deal of time thinking about the logistics of the game in that sense. I reckon there should have been some pretty firm instructions. Just stand there or run the first one hard, but ensure you don't get run out. Like there should have been some pretty firm instructions. They probably relied on fast bowler having more than most fast bowlers do.
Correct. They're like ruckman. Incredible. There you go. So that's the lay-in. Just handed South Australia the win and didn't get the draw. So cop that, Riley Meredith in the lay-in. Let's get to Ascot. Rail and True, as we discussed. We kick off race 1, 1400 metre race. What are we thinking? A maiden is favourite, Terry. Is that right?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to get Cripps' reaction. We've got a maiden at $2.40 on a Saturday, Crip. What do you reckon?
And not only that, but a horse who has been, fair to say, a bit of a tease in her career to date. So it's funny. I can see why she's favourite, but yeah, taking $2.45 about Earthstorm in a Saturday 3-year-old, it's a no from me.
Yeah, it feels a bit poison. I actually wanted to be on, but I thought $4 was a number that might get me involved. But yeah, $2.50 made it very easy to stay out. Yeah, very, very, very thin race. Like King Hit obviously was good in the Guineas. It maps nicely back to the 1400. Lots in its favour. It's going to have a head start on Earthstorm, who struggles to win. So I'd King Hit a little shorter. And the other one I think improves a lot is number 6, Ranix. It's about 20 to 1 here. And a horse like What's the Point is $5, $6. And I didn't think there was anything between their last 2 runs on the same day at Pinjarra. So I trust the yards. I think they're going to be aggressive with it on Saturday. So for a spec, I was about $8, $9 Ranix. So I could have something small on it, but that's at a stretch.
Ranix, there might be a play for Terry. Are we laying Earthstorm or expecting to get out a little bit, or just too scary a horse?
Option C.
Yeah, definitely not gonna lay her. The one horse, look, this is more of a tip no bet, but I actually thought Shaney Bay was some hope. Pretty good debut win, and then when Shin Saw at start number 2, resumes here off a couple of nice trials. So just one of those races where we've probably mentioned 6 or 7 horses, and still could have missed the winner.
Tricky race to kick things off. Hopefully we're a little bit more confident in race 2. Final Siren first up is your favourite for Rebecca Bayliss here. Any opinion from the team?
Oh, look, it's certainly the best horse in the race, but you just got to remember that its last preparation, it had W Pike in the saddle for all of its runs, and now due to the weight, you cop the apprentice on, so you've got to try and quantify what that means in terms of length. So yeah, $3, I would be tiptoeing around it, that's for sure, just with the jockey change. But in saying that, not overly confident in to come to anything to beat it. One horse I do want to touch on though is Oracle's Son. Now he's a first start in WA was the last start. This run, you've got to do yourself a favour and go back and watch it. It was it was unbelievable. So he missed a kick by probably 5 lengths, which normally means race over for 99% of horses that do that. Yet he managed to tack onto the field, and he sort of just came up on the rail, and all of a sudden he was just blocked the whole straight. Only got beaten 2 lengths, or roughly 2 lengths. I think he probably goes close with clear luck. So CJP replaces Austin Gallardi, which is a positive jockey change. Barrier 7, he will get back, but there's a heap of speed in this. And as we preface, we think getting to the outside on this Ascot track might be the place to be. So I think he can run a race at an each way price.
Well supported there too.
Yeah, the one thing Cripps missed, I was going to say, it was also 10-6 very late in betting. So the Bairstow camp are known for a bit of a bet. I think they'd bet on 2 flies crawling up a wall, to be honest. But the run was, as Cripps said, he said it might have won. I reckon it wins by 2 lengths, Cripps. It was absolutely bolting. So, it's always hard to come at a horse over the 1,000 metres who's going to settle last, but it's above my price at about $8, so I'm going to save. I'm going to have something small, bopping blue. They don't have to lead necessarily, but I really like the way it loomed up against the better horses at the 12, back to the 1,000. Chris Parnham back in the saddle. But yeah, again, I'm with Cripps. I'm not full of confidence here. There's a heap of speed on paper, but these are one of those races where we have 50 leaders, and then you come race day and they all back out because they're all of each other. Oh, we'll sit today. And next thing you know, final siren gets it soft as butter out in front or something, and the race is all over. So very mindful that these maps don't eventuate as we think they will.
Now, Cripper, you mentioned Pikey. Now he's out. He's got an injury off a scooter, which Terry's done before, he tells me. Well, we might talk about that later, but what do you make of, you mentioned Braden Garth here, the apprentice, but is there, I know Terry, you struggled when Pike was riding in Sydney for a bit as well. What do you make of the jockeys currently with Pike out? Is there less a gap between an apprentice now and the rest of the field and a field like this?
I wouldn't even say, I know I use Pike as an example there, but whether it was Chris Parnham or even Sean McGrady, I'm not a big fan of when an apprentice replaces a senior jock. Braden Garthy, to be honest, doesn't do a heap wrong, but he just doesn't really win horse races in the metro or provincial area out of turn. So I'm not, at $3, you've got to have a pretty substantial bet to get a result. And I just feel better letting those ones go through to the keeper.
Yeah. How are you feeling without Pikey, Terry?
I'm sad. I like Pikey. I like when Pikey's present. I feel like I get a good read on Pikey. But the whole thing for me, like Cripps was just saying with Braden Garth, if I had him leading this on final siren, I'd mark the horse completely different. It may well lead. It could cross bopping blue and lead. It could hold out Rock This Town and lead. But as soon as he has to sit on a horse, it's a different story. So this is the right type of ride for an apprentice. It's going to settle in the first few, but there's a couple later, which we'll touch on, who have got the apprentices on sit and sprint horses. And I could go from marking it $3.50 with Pikey on to marking it $20 with Braden or someone on. So, I'm pretty harsh when it comes to jockey choices for sit and sprinters.
Very interesting. Let's head to race 3, 1,200 metre, rating 72 plus. Horse named after you, Daniel, heads the weights there. Any opinion here, Cripper?
Well, firstly, Twain's Angel, she's a horse who came onto the scene with a bang last preparation. She won her first 6, but while she was better last start, I don't think she's going at her best or anywhere near it. In fact, I mean, it's a funny one because her trials leading into this preparation was so good, but all 3 of her runs this time in have been below par. So, look, she does get a lot in her favour on Saturday because she gets a nice jockey change with Chris Parnham hopping on. And also I like as I'm probably going to keep repeating myself throughout the whole show, I like the wide barrier away from that fence. But at $2.30 for a horse, I'm not convinced is going that well. That's got to be under the odds for mine. Keep Attacking, I think, is absolutely flying. Loses Pike, but in this case, CJP jumps on, which is not really much difference in my opinion. So that horse would have almost certainly been a bet for me if it wasn't for this nag I have about the fence. So from barrier 2, I suspect that Son of the Boss in barrier 1, while that horse might not lead, probably has the gate speed to settle a pair closer, which I've mapped Keep Attacking 3 back the fence. And from there, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't want to back a horse on this card who's going to settle 3 back the fence.
Fair enough. Terry, you siding with Keep Attacking from the low draw, or are you steering away like Cripper?
No, well, I've already bet, so I'm choiceless here. I'm hoping that Keep Attacking does have a little bit of gate speed. I'm hoping that Clint looks to hold the outside of Son of the Boss. That might be slightly ambitious, even if it is 3 of the fence. I really struggled to mark a third favourite here. I thought Twain's was better at the 1,000 last week, held up top of the straights, went with the 2 leaders to the line. I've got no map for Twain's here, but perhaps 3 deep, no cover. Might not be the end of the world on this track, but I was $17 for my third favourite, so I feel compelled to bet here. So I'm going to back Keep Attacking. Over the sprint journeys, I'm less perturbed about patterns, I guess, compared to sort of, as I said before, 1,400 metres plus, but definitely need $3 Keep Attacking, which we've got. So that'll do me. I mean, I had ambitions on there being really big money Keep Attacking, and Twain's Angel got out to $3.80, $4, and I could save because that's how cleared out my market was. But that might be ambitious because I think the Twain's money will probably stay pretty strong. So I'm going to back Keep Attacking and cross my fingers that Clint gets how the track's playing.
Will he have a fair idea? He's got obviously 2 rides prior to this. Will he know how the track's playing by now and try and use that knowledge?
Yeah, they're pretty stubborn, some of them as well. Like I know Clint and Pikey love to ride a patient ride. Neither of them really strongly believe in biases. It probably works to their favour a lot of the time too. They don't overthink it. They sort of see ball, hit ball type situation. So, but Grant and Alana, the trainers will be pretty cluey. They might just have a little word and say, look, you're in 2, you're not in 1. So if you can stay that 1 horse off the fence. Also staying off the fence probably means that Twain's Angel is caught deep, rather than Chris Parham maybe being able to slot his way in. So I'm hoping they are semi-aggressive, use the horse's gate speed, stay outside of Son of the Boss, and from there, Twain's Angel, who I think has a sticky map, could be susceptible late.
There you go. Let's head to race 4, 1,400 metres. Terry, I'll throw to you to kick things off for race 4 here.
Yeah, this is a great race. It's a difficult one to get stuck into from a betting point of view. We've got form lines from the Carbine Club, the Winterbottom, the fillies and mares features, some good 72, 78 plus stuff. Like Cripper, what did you do with Rock and Rupert? I found him such a hard horse to place. He's run 5th and 5th this prep, right? 5th in the Colonel Race, 5th in the Winterbottom. And he's picked up 10 points, which is the equivalent of 5 kilos extra he's got to carry here. So without those 2 runs, he carries 55.5. With those 2 fifths, he carries 60.5 here. Excuse me. But he's just racing like a proper top liner. And I've still got him on top, not a bet price, but I just found him a very hard horse to place. What did you do with him, Crip?
Yeah, it's hard. He reminds me a little bit of, just an example off the top of my head, is Saloon Bar. Saloon Bar ran 5th in this year's Quokka, rated absolutely through the roof, but has never been able to re-emulate that figure. So sometimes horses, they can get in these better races and they almost get, I want to say towed around because he ran really well, but just having the horse quality around him, you seem to just, you run a big figure by default. So
like I always play golf better when I play with you, Crip. You bring me up to your level.
Couldn't have put it better myself. So, yeah, look, on the surface, this race, it just looks like the winner comes from the Boss Lady or Rocking Rupert. But from a data point of view, I couldn't clear them out as much as what I'd initially hoped for. Horses like Bruce Almighty's going really well. Might not get track conditions to suit, or Falcon Trader, I thought, is going nicely as well and maps to get a good run. So I just couldn't get the 2 favourites a big enough gap between the rest of the field, I guess, in my market to be able to back either the Boss Lady at 270 or Rock and Rupert at 290. And also worth noting, it looks like Lucy might have jumped off Rock and Rupert to ride Hell I Am, which is a little bit surprising. So not saying that I personally would have done if I had the decision, but you got to take that into account as well.
Yeah, no, I was a bit surprised not to see Lucy aboard there. Falcon Trader's an interesting one, Cripps. I'm actually about $7 Falcon Trader, but I know it's 11 or 12, but it's a market I don't have any confidence in. So usually if I mark 1.7, I love my market. I feel good about my market. It's $12. I go rock and roll each way. Let's go. But I just don't feel very good about it. That's why I'm sort of holding fire at this point in time. My gut, my heart, everything tells me Rock and Rupert's a real good horse. The end of last prep, do you remember his runs with like Cash and Matty on? The apprentices were on. He was getting bad luck. He was carrying weight even after the claims, and he was unlucky, but he was still winning all of them. Like I don't know. He might just have gone to another level. I don't know. My heart tells me Rock and Rupert's going to get him, but I find it hard to get involved unless I see sort of $5 plus, which I think might be unlikely.
Yeah, that's what I marked him, $5. So it's going to be one of those races when they cross the line and the boss lady and Rock and Rupert have cleared out and run a Quinella, and you just go, it was just so obvious. But yeah, I tried to wriggle my ratings around as much as I could, and I just couldn't get them to stand out like the market has them.
Be an interesting watch there. Let's head to race 5, the Perth Handicap 1800 metre race. Cripps, we'll start with you here, mate.
I'll be honest, this was the last race I did last night, and it was starting to get pretty late, and it just looks I'm going to say an absolute raffle on paper. 1800 metre race. I marked basically half the field within a length and a half of my top pick, so opinions should be divided. For the sake of a tip, I had Profit and Power on top, who produced easily what I thought was a career best run last start when leading at a really good clip and winning soft. But problem here is he's going to probably have to do it a bit different. So I'd imagine they'd take the same tactics with 5 down, maybe not go as hard as what they did last start. But I've heard Luke Fernie say publicly that 5 down is a lead at all costs type of horse. So if they go to the front, then Profit and Power probably is going to have to do the bullocking work outside that horse, potentially on a strong tempo into the southwest breeze. So yeah, it's going to be, if the horse reproduces what he did last start, then he's going to be pretty hard to catch. But I just feel like there's a lot of horses who are going to be coming at him pretty hard late too. And get the dartboard out of which one you want to be on. But yeah, I couldn't find one at the current prices that I was keen on.
Terry's about to steer you into one here, I reckon, Terry. Come on.
Yeah, I just don't like a lot of these in regards to, I think we've got a good 15 horse field, but I reckon 12 of them or 11 of them can't walk, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm worried about Profit and Power, but everything Cripps just touched on is why I'm happy to take it on, especially the 1800 metre start at Ascot. It's on a turn. You have to do work early. I reckon, Cripps, that Luke's plan might be to tuck in on 5 down if they do clear out a bit again and get some cover. And that's what worries me. I think that's how I get beaten here. But if that occurs, so be it. But we saw War Matters and Central Force clear out with Rocking Society, who's obviously not here. A fortnight ago, same distance, very similar speed map with 5 down out in front. I don't think anything new worries me. So those 2 horses I expect to fight out the finish again. Always happy to go with the map horse. That's War Matters, who will settle a lot closer. I think it can jump on the back of a horse like Profit and Power in the breeze. Extra run under its belt. I feel like it's ready to win one. So happy to back War Matters and save on Central Force. It's not very exciting, but I can't have the rest. I really just can't have the rest winning a Saturday race. So happy just to play the 2 that dominated basically the same race 2 years ago.
Backing 9 and saving 6 there for Terry in race 5. Let's get to what caught my eye before we head to the quaddie legs, where I think we're a bit more keen to play in the quaddie legs, which I look forward to that. Terry, I was going to throw some footage of you last week. You've had an absolute fill-up.
Just a lot looks in Russian to the bar's favour here. So I was happy to back Russian to the bar.
Terry, best bet on the card?
Oh, not exciting. Race 3, none so spicy. It just looks a standout to me. If I can back Divine Belief, that'll do me for a little play. But I did think Kisses from Kelly would be the target, a big support. Just everything looks to be in good order's favour. Very happy having an each way play. But I'm backing all play here. It's the main horse I want to be on.
Well done, mate. Superb by you. Well, you're pretty hot in the text to me afterwards. Well done, mate. You deserve it.
I was pretty hot in the text to you. Where's the Leighton? Yeah, I was actually. Yeah, no, thanks, mate. We have plenty of ordinary days, so got to enjoy the good ones when they come. I whinge a fair bit to Cripper, don't I, Cripps? So we got to, enjoy the good days when they come. They're few and far between.
Dwight pays to watch the show, guys, and head over to Betfair and find your tips on the app as well. You had a fill up, so well done, and your followers will be very, very happy. And if you don't follow, jump on the Betfair app and click the follow button. Get notifications when the tips are in app as well for all your favourite expert tipsters. A couple of other things. We've got the Australia versus India third test starting on Saturday, December 14. Just wanted to read out the odds. Australia, $1.63. India, $3. The draw is $15.50. We can continue to lay the draw. Incredible. Any opinion here, guys, heading into the third test?
No, but should mention just the aftermath of the second test. So we went on a little bit about it. It was Breadbags McChav versus the Betfair trader. Breadbags was all over India, and the Betfair trader really liked Australia. So credit where credit's due. You got to tip your cap to the trader, and Chav texted me on, I think when the test was just about done. He goes, "I don't even care about my bet. It's just the worst thing is that I've lowered my colours to the blokes on the podcast." So he wasn't happy, the big fella.
Very good. 1-1.
Terry,
who are you
it's
backing?
a big scalp to get, the Breadbag scalp, isn't it, Crip? They're probably in sports punting, that's probably as big a scalp as you can possibly get. So now $1.63 is good again, Tommy. Australia just keep winning. Virat not to make another run.
Love it. I thought everyone's saying is back in form. If he didn't make runs in that innings in the first test, they were up. It was an easy time to bat. It was his time to actually find some form. He's got to do it when the going's tough now. I'm not convinced he's going that well still. Big Bash. You guys, probably Perth Scorchers fans, $4.90 head the market in the Big Bash. Starts also very, very soon, which I can't wait this weekend. The Sixers at $5.60. The Brisbane Heat, $7. Sydney Thunder at $9.20. You a Perth fan, Terry?
Oh, I like watching the Big Bash. I couldn't care less. Hello, Britt. I couldn't care less. Hey,
Drive-by.
I couldn't care less who wins, to be honest. But the only thing about the Big Bash isn't the Scorchers mostly? Well, it is a lot of the WA players, and WA can't walk at the moment, so that might be a bit of a risky price this year, Tommy.
They've got a great record, though. They just used to win everything. They're not going so well this season, but they'll bounce back. Their T20 stuff is fantastic. Head over to Betfair for that market. All right, guys, time for a fill-up. We head to the quaddie legs, race 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's get stuck into race 6, 1,400 metres. You're both keen to play on different horses as well. Bit of a head-to-head potentially. Cripper, where are you leaning?
Yep. All right. So it's taken me to the first leg of the quaddie to find a bet, and in saying that,
fourth week of a layback with Betfair episode.
Divine belief. One from one last week, but let's not go there. Yes. So tough race. One again marked each way odds the field, but my top pick, which was Red Tory, is currently double figures. So happy to back her each way. Really liked her first up run. She drew wide, settled near last on a really slow tempo. The leader and breeze horse got away with absolute murder. Love the way she got to the line. She was never a chance to win that race with the way the race was run, but she just trucked to the line really nicely to be beaten about a length. 1,400 metre suits. She will improve second up. She hasn't won second up, but on her 2 tries, she's been basically beaten a photo both times. So she tends to go quite well with the run under her belt. Drawn wide, which normally isn't my go, but as I keep saying on this track, I think it could be a blessing in disguise. She'll come into barrier 12 after the scratchings of the emergency, hoping Brad Parnham can settle her 3 deep with cover. And from there, I think she'll run an each-way race at an each-way price.
You disagree, Terry, or you can see the point of view, but you're leaning to others?
Yeah, basically, yeah. No, I was third favourite, Red Tory. I haven't got my market in front of me at about $10. So, no, I can definitely see where Cripper is coming from there. I was pretty set on wanting to be on Papavero Princess. My feel is with Papavero Princess, and again, I'll throw to you, Crip. You're a very good Pricer, you give me the right advice, when to dive in, when not to. Papavera Princess, $6. Best price will be late each way, I think. Do you agree?
Just think it's one of those races where, I mean, yeah, you got a 16 horse field. It's got to fit into 100% on Betfair by the end. I mean, what price is Papavera Princess now? She's $6.
Yeah.
I can't see her starting much shorter than that. So I guess you always talk about Terry, risk v reward. If she starts $5.50, well, you know, you've lost your half a point, but she might start $8. So I think the reward outweighs the risk for her in a big capacity field.
Yeah, 100%. That'll be the play. Papavera Princess, each way, late price. Yeah, basically exactly what Cripps said then regarding when we bet. But she's a really, really nice horse. She took a while to break her maiden, but she ran into a horse called Elite Fashions, who was going to be anything we haven't seen for a while. She ran second to Russian to the Bar. She should have beaten Russian to the Bar that day. I backed her that day, and I'm still stiff about it. Should have beaten a horse that's just come out, won a 78 plus, won multiple listed races just after that. She then broke her maiden status, beating My Hidden Universe under no riding. My Hidden Universe came out to be anything at its next couple of runs after that, won a Saturday race. Didn't come up mid-year. She had one start mid-year, didn't come up. Summer put her away, brought her back. Trial was elite. First start win was elite, albeit on the best part of the track. I'm fully aware I'm backing a horse that did get the right run first up to win. But I just really, really like everything she's done in the past. We're going to get each way. I want to back horses drawn sort of that midfield off fence with this rail, how we think it's going to play. She's got tactical speed. Yeah, she ticks every box for me. So I'm really excited about Papavera Princess each way. And I'm going to save on Kalima. I didn't want to. I thought she'd be a bit shorter, but $7 plus. I'll save on a horse who's caused us all a lot of heartache. Probably the best horse in the race, but own worst enemy, gets back, misses kicks, finds trouble. I don't think there's a horse who's had more held up for the entirety of the straights in a 13-start career than this horse. So, but it's a cheap save at $7 and one that's good for my mental health. So, Papavera Princess each way and money back Kalima.
Cripper on the 15 Red Tory, Terry on 13 Papavera Princess each way, save 6 Kalima. For the quaddies out there, guys, you've got 6, 13, 15 between you. $6 the field at the moment. Any others we can put in? Is it a wide leg? Is it chances galore?
Probably is a wide leg, isn't it?
I'd have the 10 Our Rocky Bay in. I think the horse is going better than form suggests, and he's one of those who just will map off the fence, but should be nice and handy.
You could have the 4 in, Madam Maggi, bit flat last start, but the prior run goes close. Yeah, I don't know. You could have quite a lot, to be honest. I think we stay thin. One of us will get the winner up.
One of those races you could have 7 or 8 and still not get it potentially.
Yeah,
100%. I'd stick with stick with our 3 or 4. Those 3 plus our Rocky Bay. That'll do us.
Fair enough. Let's get to the STARSTRUCK Classic, 1,600 metres. Terry, you filled out the run sheet. You're keen to play in this race, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I think I was a bit too aggressive with my market here, but that's what I do. I couldn't care less. Especially, I tell you what, you have a good week on the punt, my confidence just goes up. My next is a shocker because I think I'm a hero. So, but I'm fully aware of that. So, as long as I'm aware of it, it's all good. But I marked Bonjoy and own the Queen $3 a piece. It was a real standout combo for me. Bonjoy was the pick of all the runs in the Jungle, Mist, Dawn, whichever the 1,400 metre one is. I get a little bit confused with all the names. But yeah, she was the run of the race there. The step up to the mile suits. She's got a run under her belt. She obviously missed a run the start prior. So everything tells me that Bonjoy beats home all those same horses again. Your Antique Misses, Rusty Dreams, and McGlides. And then there was the return of Own the Queen, who was something like, geez, when we recorded our show, I think Own the Queen was about $8 Crip, jumped about 50 to 1 on Betfair, should have won the race by 2 lengths. It was just a surreal effort. And I reckon that 78 plus form she's coming out of is actually better than the fillies and mares listed races that Bonjoy comes out of. The issue is barrier 1. The issue is the lack of speed in this. Like, what do they do with her? Do they try and lead? Do they follow a Go Bella or an Antique Miss? I'm not too sure exactly, but the run was just too good. The run was simply just too good to ignore. So with how the track is playing, I'm a little bit wary and a little bit nervous with backing horses in 1 and 3, but that's what I'm going to do. So at the prices, it's going to be a back own the Queen, save Bon Joy. But yeah, that's me.
As a part of you, Terry, want to see how the track's playing? I know you do jump in early as well when the markets have mistakes potentially, and you do bet late after that as well. But part of you want to, with this betting and the trepidation around inside fence, want to wait a bit more?
Yeah, probably. I think at the current prices, I'd definitely wait. As you said, I mean, somewhere went up $10 on the Queen, which I think was a little bit wild. And there was $4 Bon Joy. So now we're talking $5 and $3.30. It's a different. You wait now for sure, but you don't get those. You probably don't get a second bite at those prices, you know. So
yep.
It's a tough one in that sense. I think Clint will have more options than Troy on Bon Joy. So it may well eventuate, if the fence is as bad as we think it may be, that Bon Joy becomes the better of the two bets. There's also a big chance with the lack of speed in this, so they both get held up, and a horse like Yonga Lass or I'm not sure who else, Miss Sky High maybe gets the momentum up out wide and nails me. So I'm wary about my bet here in a race without speed, but I'm backing what I believe are comfortably the two best horses in really good form. So I'm hoping it works out for one of them.
Terry with 1 and 7. Cripper, any opinion?
Everything that Terry's just said then is exactly what I'm thinking. I had those two on top, but the queries that he had, which for him, the horses have outweighed the queries, but for me, the queries have outweighed the horses. I'm really worried about the lack of speed in this race. I just can't see a leader. Maybe Rusty Dreams, Terry?
I don't reckon. I reckon Rusty Dreams went forward 2 back, was horrible. That's one I think definitely is ridden cold. I reckon Antique Miss led and won at 1200 last prep. Hello again, Brett. So I reckon they go forward on Antique Miss. I reckon Go Bella will try and roll the dice and go forward. But the funny thing is about this race, none of these even have much potential gate speed. Like you can't even just say, oh, let's go forward today, because they do not accelerate in the first 100 metres. So I don't know. If I was the connections of Own the Queen, I would be considering leading.
Yeah. Fair enough. And if that's the case, I'd much rather see her lead than either box seat or be 3 back the fence in a fastly run race. So again, probably a race I would have been more interested in playing on if the rail was at 6 metres, but it's at true. And just with this lack of speed in my mind, another one I'm happy to shoulder arms to.
Fair enough. Let's get to the feature. The richest Group 3 race I've ever seen, $1.5 million. Group 3, no Eastern Seaboard horses here. A couple of jockeys, however. It is the Gold Rush 1400 metres. Good race. And do you guys align, I think? Is that right, Terry?
We align at nearly 20-1 as well. So I've been looking forward to talking
Just
about.
Pause the show. I'm going to have a bet.
Very happy. I love aligning with Crip on a roughie, but I'm also very disappointed because I just wanted to launch. But I feel like I'm just going to go on too much here. So I feel like I need to throw to Crip and let him have first go with the new.
Come on, Cripper.
To be honest, I'm very surprised I found this horse. He has not been one of mine for his whole career because he was a big spruik horse at the start, and I used to think he'd go around paper thin prices, but he used to always win. So maybe I was the one in the wrong. However, railway winner last year. He then went to the Northerly, ran 4th, and so same prep. So backed up last year, backed up off 7 days from the Northerly back to the Gold Rush. You just got to go back and watch that run. He drew 12. He was snagged out of the gates, and it was almost like the horse, because he was snicked, kind of, I don't want to say gave up, but Stevie really had to ride him along. I think it was Stevie, just to keep up with the field in over 1400 metres. But when he got into the straight, boy, oh boy, did he let loose. So he got beaten. I think he got beaten 2 lengths, but he was just hitting the line as good as anything. I'm fairly certain with a gate, he just about wins. And if not, he definitely places. This time in, you could probably argue he might be going a length worse this year than what he was. Did you say I'm going first?
Just as good. Just as good, Cribber. As good.
I'll go.
Just as good. Think about the railway. He's carried 3.5 more kilos in this year's railway, sat deep the trip, been beaten 3.5 lengths. Like, And he just fought Noski the whole way, a jockey who's never ridden him before. No, he's done just as well. Do you reckon the run in last year's Northerly was identical to this year's Northerly?
That's what I'm about to say. I wasn't sure if he was going as good this year as what he was last year, but as Terry said, he had excuses in the railway, albeit nearly ran last, but he certainly returned to form last week. He settled box seat and ended up getting on the back of the winner. So you could sort of say, well, he was in the right part of the race. But if you take away the winner, all the other horses in the top 5 all came from well back. So, and they actually ran it really hard. They were about 6 legs quicker than benchmark. So you could almost argue that he was too close to the speed, even though the winner won from outside the leader. But same back up off 7 days, back to 1,400 metres for the Gold Rush. But more importantly, he gets the perfect gate here. After the emergencies come out, he'll jump from barrier 7, which is just ideal because he's obviously not too close to that fence that I'm worried about, but he's got options from on the gate where he can be nice and handy, hopefully 3 deep with cover, or potentially even 1-1. I don't know. I'll leave that up to Stevie. And I just think he tries so hard every start. We're getting kind of at the moment $15, $16 and over $4 a place. He's a great 1x3 place heavy bet for me in a race where I don't know if there's a heap of chances.
Just before you start, Terry, an interesting thing that I saw here is the market. Now, he was 21s into 14s last start in a Group 1 Northerly. This doesn't look any harder than that, so he's a bigger price in potentially an easier race, and he had market support last start. You buying into that as well?
Yeah, 100%. This is a significantly easier race, I think, as Cripps touched on. We do get Western Empire, we get the Winterbottom horses coming into this, but we're losing the Eastern Staters. So I'm with Cripps in regards to this speed map for him as well. It's just cherry right from 7. I don't think he's going to be 1-1. I think he'll be 6th, 7th type thing, 8th. Maybe the back of a Search and Rocks in a 3 wide line, even who could be the 3 wide horse leading him up there. But this might be a controversial opinion, but I don't reckon Bustler gets a strong mile, let alone a strong 1,800. Yes, he won a Group 1 railway. That was with 53 kilos with a genuine, it's just gone out of point as we're talking. Bustler has just lengthened in price on this screen I have hidden here. That's incredible. They're not respecting his Cripps. But I don't think
he won't when they listen. Don't worry.
I don't think he runs. Yeah, the algorithm's doing it wrong. I don't think he runs a super strong mile compared to the 1,400 metres. So his run, as Cripps said, go watch his run in last year's Gold Rush. Give him a gate, let the horse wake up early, and he goes close to winning that. So I wanted to find a horse that was in that middle tier. I'm the same as Cripps. I went into the race looking to find. I didn't go to looking to find anything, but I didn't expect to find anything. Bustler just stood out to me, completely and utterly stood out to me. I marked him favourite, and I'm unashamedly marked him favourite as well. So, this is the best bet of the carnival, I reckon.
Jeez, this is fantastic push.
Harry, make sure you clip that one up.
Something, exactly right. Just a little teaser. Bet of the carnival. That's all we need. $20 you'll get on Betfair at the moment. Ask for a price. Bet of the carnival. That's all we need to promote the show. Thank you, Terry. That's brilliant. We're with Bustler. Cripper, you've got another play you want to save on, or just another horse of interest?
Yeah, I'm just going to have a spec bet on the number 11 Mojo Rhythm. Look, it doesn't feel like a winning bet. I mean, most bets at 30-1 plus. Probably see better on Betfair late, to be honest. Don't, but I think he's just been a little bit underrated. Ran 6 in the railway, beaten 1.4, and then in the Northerly ran 5th, beaten 2.5. Look, he'll get back sort of worse than midfield, but he's drawn wide to, again, get to that right part of the track on the straight, and sort of at 34s, 40s, $8 or $9 a place. I'm definitely not going to make him as good a result as Bustler, but I don't want to lose on him. I'd be a lot more disappointed if he wins and I didn't have anything on him than if I had, a throwaway bet on him and he runs dead last. So it's an easy sort of, I'll probably back him to collect about half as the amount as what I will for Bustler.
Easy jar bet there on the 11. Who goes into the quaddie? We respecting Western Empire at the top of the market. You just having Bustler one out, Terry?
Yeah, well, we could do. Yeah, you could even do a margin bet, probably. I think you've got to go pretty wide here. I'd have Western Empire. I'd leave Comfort Me out unless we see a strong fence. We see a strong fence. Comfort Me definitely goes in. Magnificent Andy's got the pads on, so I wouldn't have Magnificent Andy. It's funny, Crip. Magnificent Andy, I found a really good reference point for Bustler for my market. I don't think there's much between Andy and Bustler. I think Bustler's a slightly better horse. Andy has the bar shoes going on, and Andy's half the price. Like I thought that was a great reference point for this being a good price as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. And even then, when they clashed for Bustler 3 starts ago, Andy was probably the better run, but I think Bustler's building really nicely into his prep, and last start was clear that was the best run of his campaign so far. So hopefully Bustler's even, found another length or two since they clashed. So yeah, I'd like you said, would prefer to have them a lot closer together, and I had Bustler shorter too.
Yep. You guys still hating on Wind of the Lion, Placid Arc form?
I was just about to bring that up. I was what price was I? 50 to 1. 50 to 1. And that was being generous too.
That's a lot more generous than I thought you'd be. Do you have we're going to have triple Mr. on our quaddy as well. Number 9, number 12, number 14.
Yeah, this is a wide leg.
It's a wide.
What price?
Not that we need to go wide, obviously. We've already found the winner.
Wind in the line price, Terry?
They haven't invented a number big enough.
Oh, sounds like
Tommy, don't you
win and place,
this?
Guys. Put your money where your mouth is.
He tips the card, and this is vintage
is
Perth Racing Guru stuff. I absolutely love it. He's back.
Getting ahead of himself, you reckon?
Oh, I love it. No, keep going, Terry.
That's where you strike gold, isn't it?
This is going to be an absolute strip out this week, isn't it?
Wind in the line at 100s. Put up a price, Betfair, take it on. Let it drift and get on the lay button. I'm glad you guys are confident there, because I don't think you are very confident in the last. We had to 1,500 metres in the last. You're keen to lay one potentially, Cripper, but no back bet.
Yeah, the only thing I'm confident about in this race is that Snippy Witch should not be favourite. Admittedly, I don't follow the Gelton form closely, and it's obviously, it must be going pretty good up there, 1, 2 of its last 3. But sort of over the years, I usually steer away from that country form, and I rarely find I get burnt that often by just sort of knocking him and adding barrier 1, which I'm going to repeat myself here, is I don't think it's going to be the draw for Saturday. So at $4, massive under the odds for me. I had Count the Sessions on top, who I think has got really good run last start after missed a kick and was held up. Gets CJP back on, who really suits this horse. But I was $7.50 the field in this race. I found it tough.
Playing Snippy Witch there. Any opinion to finish things off, Terry? Give us some quaddy numbers at least.
Yeah, no, pretty similar to Crib. I actually thought I might back Snippy Witch here, but I thought I might see $15, $16. So it's flying in Jarrow. It's doing everything right, but dearie me, like double figures, surely you have to see them do it in town first. Like most of these horses, if they went up to Jarrow, would win as well as Snippy Witch is winning in Jarrow. So very, very wary. I was the Spruker as my favourite without much confidence. The map worries me. Tommy, this is a wild horse in regards to how many points he's dropped. So he had a peak rating a couple of years ago. It was a 91 rater. He's now a 68 rater. So he's carrying 11.5. Is that right? Yeah, 11.5 kilos less than he would have at his peak. And his last 2 runs, while he's not at his peak, they're showing that he's probably getting back to a lot closer to that peak. I wouldn't say he's 11.5 kilos off that peak. So if he had drawn a barrier, I'd probably mark him 350, and he's one of the better bets each way of the day. I'm just a bit worried how it all works out, but he's going to be $8 each way. So it'll get me for a very small little play, probably without much confidence.
That was the Spruker, was it?
Yep.
Number 12. Number 12, the Spruker there, potentially each way to finish us off for Terry. Let's get to the lay streak, guys. We finish off. I've had 10 in a row. I'm flying, guys. They knew that I tipped one last week and they knew it couldn't win, so they scratched it. I'm laying Randwick race 8, number 20. I'm in to win in the feature there, the Ingham. Drawn barrier 22. Can't see this horse getting a soft time in front, gets up in trip, and this is a much harder race. So happy to lay race 8, number 20. I'm in to win. I know it's not favourite, but it's single figures and I don't think it can win. So there you go. Terry, anything from you?
I'll let Cripper have the one in the last. I'll go with race number 4. We discussed apprentices on back markers, and that's what we get with Devoted, currently around $2.30 a place. I'm happy to lay Devoted, not to run a hole in that race. So race 4, number 1, to run a hole.
And Cripper, you got a couple. Which way are you leaning, Twains or Snippy Witch?
I'm going to go, I think Twains is under the odds, but I'm going to go for my lay streak, Snippy Witch in the last for all the reasons I just outlined.
Well, you're talking rolling your best bets.
Well, I was tossing up. I mean, didn't have a lot of choice this week, and I wouldn't say it's overly confident. Was tossing up between Red Tory and Bustler, but the Perth racing guru, he's got me a bit fired up. So, yeah, certainly race 8, number 4, Bustler, place heavy.
Bet of the century.
Race 8, number 4, Bustler, win heavy.
Bet of the century. I'm backing 2 off trials. I haven't done a huge amount of form outside of these 2, just black book from trials. Canterbury Friday night, race 8, number 10, Winston Hills. And Newcastle Saturday, race 2, number 1, Acadian Emperor over 1,800 metres. There's a couple from the trials. For the trial files that I will be pushing and previewing. Been a pleasure, guys. I'm not sure if we're doing a show next week, but maybe ahead of Perth Cup. Is that New Year's Day, is it, Terry?
Yes, it is New Year's Day this year. So, yep. Should be available. See if you guys can afford us after Bustler wins.
We might have to cross live from Barbados or something. New Year's Day. Been a pleasure, guys. Thank you for the last 4 weeks. It's been good fun. We'll continue to do it. We're always here to support you guys. You're great assets to Betfair. You're great punters and astute minds. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Tommy.
My pleasure, Tommy. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I love working with you guys too.
All the best. Follow them on the Betfair app. Thanks for joining us on Layback with Betfair.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.